Go.
Welcome to 20
2,
Years of Doom Live
1,
with Temin
go.
underscore dump.
And Red.
Today we're looking
No
at...
coffee today.
He's a bit under the weather. He
No
says
coffee
hi, by
today.
the way. He told me... Well, I suggested that I
Yeah.
would say hi to the chat for him. But we're looking at Doom for the 32X. And probably one of the worst ports? Eh? I don't know. The Genesis...
I can't think of one worse.
Yeah. Like, Knuckles Chaotix for the 32X has, like, amazing music, whereas this just uses, like, the standard Genesis Yamaha chip, and it sounds like crunchy garbage.
Yeah. Which, I mean, man, you think about how springy the midis are in Doom, and you think, oh, that should be a perfect match. No.
Yeah.
No, they picked all the wrong instruments.
Crunching out of that sound chip.
Yeah.
The guy does... Look at this demo. He doesn't even go for the
Yeah.
barrel. What is this?
Oh, God. He spent 2 shotgun shells on a zombie guy.
This is what we got to deal with, man. So they can't even get full resolution for the 32X thing because, I don't know. They had to heavily, what's the word, optimize it for consoles. This is actually the first one we're looking at. That's the console set of levels for Doom. Oh, also, it lets you change your controls a little bit, and it repeats the same same demo. It only has one demo. Yes, this guy is terrible at Doom.
No,
also,
he's not. He's just playing it on the 32X.
You can choose any level between 1 and 15. A bit of a caveat to that, but we'll get there later. So, it's the console version. That means the maps are downgraded. This whole corridor, they don't have any columns, the tech columns, you know. Also, the use button is also the strafe button, which is mildly annoying, but they only accommodated for, you know, the Genesis controller, which is just the D-pad and A, B, C, and start and... Did it have a select?
The Genesis controller?
Yeah.
No, it did not, I don't believe. I believe it's... I mean, okay, so there's the classic Genesis controller here from the Real Pro here, which is just D-pad, start button, and ABC. But there's the... Yeah, there's the advanced controller, which I believe did add a select button and XYZ.
As the saying goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just straight up from my Elgato capture via composite HDMI converter.
Oh yeah, I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, it's...
Well, 'cause the guy's face looks proportionally correct. It doesn't look like he's fat-faced or anything. Which is kind of weird. That works.
So
Weird.
yeah, played
That
on a real
works.
32X. Oh god. That thing is a pain to set up. I didn't have the correct outlets to put that together. So the Genesis has its own, you know, power and AV cable things, right, coming out of the back of it. Then you plop the 32X in like it's a cartridge, and that's got to connect via a special cable, which luckily came with the 32X I have, that plugs into the Genesis, and then that has the also. You put the Genesis AV out into the 32X, and also the 32X has its own power out, you know, outlet thing, and both of those plugs end in just those huge power bricks. You know, the ones that you can't fit in with anything.
Why did they include like a surge protector in the plug? That's my only guess for why those things even exist.
I don't know, man.
Just like, oh god, those things are terrible. They should be banned.
Record this. I had my Genesis just kind of in the middle of my living room with the 32X and Genesis power cables kind of straddling the entire room to get to reachable outlets. Jeez. Good times.
The old days were a hard time. The old west, you could say.
Yep. I think that's all I got on 32X though. Wait, no, there's more. I did play with the controller with the XYZ buttons, and they actually do have a function. Those switch your weapons.
Oh my goodness! So if you played this without the XYZ, you would just be boned. This without Z,
I don't know
you would
if
just
you
be
can play it with, but I sure didn't, and I'm kind of glad that I.
Oh wait, oh no, I know what would happen. You'd be that guy who runs out of ammo for his plasma rifle, only to switch to his rocket launcher and be like, great, this whole level is close corridors. Better run out of ammo fast.
Oh man.
Or just you have the pistol out, so you have to run out of ammo for that before you can switch away from it. Oh wait, if you go back to the fist, you can switch away from it. Pick up a new gun. If you go back to the fist, you're boned until you pick up a new gun. What? What? Oh my god!
So that's another weird thing. The ones that they optimize, they borrow a bunch of textures from Doom 2, and it's really weird. Like a lot of you see the Startan texture here.
Yeah.
The standard base texture. For some reason, they replace just like the Doom 2 brick textures, and I don't understand it, man.
I almost want to say a rendering thing, but that would be weird.
Guess so. Did they cut down on cartridge size, whatever, file size? I don't know why they did it, man. It's weird.
Yeah.
So, I don't think this is chronologically the first console port. I believe that was the Atari Jaguar, but it's one of my least favorites, so that's what we're doing.
Well, yeah, because it takes a generally pretty great console and shows you its worst side possible. Well, actually, it's the 32X, so never mind. It's
the weird.
Well, actually, it's the 32X, so never mind.
The Genesis is actually like a weird video thing. If you don't have it connected to the Genesis, like none of the 3D things will render. So, like, I don't know what would happen, like with Doom. Try that out, but I don't want to hook up the 32X again.
Future for science. I'll come hook it up because I'm really curious. I'll save you the trouble.
I think for real, that's all I have on the 32X Doom port thing for the time being.
Are we gonna? Is it time?
Yes.
Can we start?
Right. Yes.
Is it time?
All right. Audible.com presents Doom, Knee Deep in the Dead, a novel by David Abhue and Brad Weaver. Read to you by Tim_Dump.
Hold on. You have a physical copy of this book.
Yep, it's in my hand.
I just wanted to point that out.
Yep, it's got a 10-cent sticker on the. The ISBN on the back. Little promo that I read
for you, but I don't know. It's.
I feel ripped off now.
Oh man, because you had to pay for shipping, huh?
Yeah.
That's how they get you. Wow, this new CPU is only like $50, and the shipping is $350. What? Yeah.
Oh yeah, one of the cons, no monster infighting. I think that's because the enemies have rotation, so it would look really weird. So they just cut it out altogether.
They're always facing you.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna be watching for that actively now.
You can't instigate infighting, and it makes one of the levels kind of difficult, but not really, because I'm a pro at this game.
Even on the 32X.
All right, so. Hell on Earth, a blood-curdling novel based on the best-selling computer game, available from Pocketbooks. Suddenly, the radio sputtered to life. It was PFC Grayson, out front on recon. Wait, what? Somebody wrote in this book, there's like sorry. The young Marine had found a corpse. "Highly impossible, sir," reported Grayson, his voice tense. "It's in too many creases. I can't positively say that it's a white male." Oh wait, I can positively say that it's a white male. It looks like Jesus, sir. It looks like claw marks, and this body's been chewed. Wild beasts on airless Phobos. The masticated body parts had been found in the processing plant. We heard wheeze. Oh, I guess that's a name. Over radio, issuing orders to converge on point. Sorry, I'm bad at reading out loud. I'll get better. Converge on that point when a burst of static interfered with the reception. Grayson's. Ugh. And then my voice crapped out. When Grayson's voice came in again, it was loud and clear. Up until that moment, the universe still made some kind of sense to me. Of all the military scenarios running through my mind, none prepared me for what happened next. Jesus Christ! It's not human, shouted Grayson. Too big. Shaped all wrong. Humanoid. Red eyes. While Grayson was providing the fragmentary report, he punctuated his description with bursts from his rifle. Before he could become more coherent, we heard an inarticulate roar of animal pain from whatever he was shooting, and then he shouted, "I can put it down!" The scream we heard was fully human. My body went cold. That's the foreword. That's the prologue. Yes, Canstein, this is Doom 32X. Before the beginning, Kathiristan is about as close as you can come to hell on Earth. I say that with authority. I've spent the last 18 months doing a tour here, trying to keep the Kathiri People's Liberation Army, who call themselves the Scythe of Glory, from the throats of our rightist... Oh god. Korostitsi. That's a mouthful. Thank you. Who have the backing of the Azeri transplants. I hope they stop making up words.
They're not.
I know.
You're reading it. You're screwed.
Plants from the south
You're
who want to
screwed.
keep their enclaves. We're dirty war against communist Cuban and Peruvian mercs. Jeez, you get the picture. It's a snarled skein of a million bloody threads up here on the top of the world in the northern extension of the Karakoram range between Afghanistan and Samarkand, Uzbekistan.
God, they're not even making up words. These are just all...
I know. I'm just...
God, they just picked the worst ones to say.
We just punched through the craggy pass pleasantly known as the Torn Hymen in the local tongue and come across this... Let me read that again. Let me get some light on this. We just punched through the craggy pass pleasantly known as the Torn Hymen in the local tongue and come across the small Muslim city of Nizganji, perched on a mountain peak of 2,200 meters. I stared in horror. I'm sorry. Even 18 months of picking up after Scythe of Glory and their shining path buddies didn't prepare me for what was left of Nizganji.
It might be Nizgania. Nizgania? Nizgania? Yeah, maybe.
It was a Bosch canvas, severed limbs and hollowed out trunks, eaten out by animals. I prayed. Planted. Turned the page.
I prayed, planted, and turned the page. Yeah.
Stalks of corn, blood painting the doors and walls like the first Passover. Except it was human blood, not lamb's blood. Corporal Flynn Taggart, Fox Company, 15th Light Drop Infantry Regiment, United States Marine Corps, 888-239-9912. Everyone calls me Fly, except when they're pissed. Fox crept through the town, hell-shocked, trying without much success to count the body parts and make a reasonable KIA guess. Fog or an evil cloud rolled across the mountaintop, shrouding the sprightly red decoration and muffling of our footsteps. It was like we walked along a cotton corridor, tripping over gruesome reminders that war, especially the virulent hatred of one tribe for another, throws men back into pre-bronze, pre-agricultural savagery. I wondered how many victims were killed by the victor's bare hands. Something moved in the mist. A shadow, a shape, nothing more. Gunnery Sergeant Goforth froze us with a slight hiss. Fox is damn well trained, even for the light drop. Gates stopped next to me. He touched my arm, silently pointing to the left and right. I saw immediately whatever the shapes were. They were surrounded They surrounded us from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock. We might be able to retreat, but we couldn't flank. I watched the gunny. Arlene Sanders was whispering something in his ear. She was our scout. The lightest of light drop. PFC Sanders could fade into the night, so not even a werewolf could sniff her out. My best buddy. She might have been more once. We were buddies. We didn't talk about that night. Anyway, she had Dodd, and I don't separate bookends. Arlene backed away, back past me, throwing me a wink as she vanished. She would swing in a wide arc, ease around behind the still-moving shades, and report back to the lieutenant and gunny Goforth via secured line. I'd find out soon enough. I hadn't moved, and neither had the rest of us. I could barely hear Bill!
Bill, is that you?
Sorry. Breathing next to me, and Dot or Shield. Child?
I'd say shield.
You know...
Look at it this way. It literally spells she-ill. So shield.
Okay, maybe the dinks wouldn't even know we were here. They just pad right on by. Then Lieutenant Beelzebub. What?
Oh man, is he gonna do a heel turn at the very end and actually be the devil? Son of a bitch! Wow,
Beelzebub
son
came
of a
running up,
bitch!
commanding, "What the hell is going on?" in his normal speaking voice, an irritating whine. I like my personification better.
Yeah, we're gonna stick with it. That's not
the lieutenant's name, Weems.
Yeah, we're gonna stick with it.
Oh.
Yeah, Weems again.
They were just making a pass at him. His real name is Weems.
Yeah, Weems
actually.
again.
I just call him Beelzebub because he's fat, he's a fat, sweaty heathen, always surrounded by a swarm of gnats. They taste of his perspiration. The dinks.
Oh.
These people use the word dink more than I do. Froze as somebody as... The dinks froze as suddenly as we had. No longer moving. They vanished into a swirling gray. We had just lost whatever surprise we had. Lost our best chance to get out of this encounter without a shot fired. And all because a buffoon who had been first lieutenant for 3 years now couldn't figure out it was a Medusa drill. One of them moved, then another. They moved singly here and there, and we no longer had a clue where the mass of them was. Weems began to panic. We'd seen it all before. Aren't we going to take them out? He asked Goforth, who was frantically putting his finger on his lips. Somebody should take them out. Goforth put his hand on his ear. He was listening to Arlene's report, trying to stifle the lieutenant with his other hand. But Weems saw a ghost to his left, a specter to his right. We were surrounded, in Weems' mind. I use the term loosely. They were Indians. We were 7th Cav, and he was Custer. Military base. I have things to say about this.
Oh boy. Good interlude.
A, wrong song. B, bad sky, wrong sky. C, listen to the song. Just give it... So, a couple notes are really out of tune. This is the worst. I think what happened is, do you know about pitch bend?
Kind of.
MIDI pitch bend?
Oh god, so the pitch bend values are they retained and so they don't work because they had to be tailored for the chipset? Okay. They didn't translate right.
Yeah,
okay.
I think what happened is they
didn't
started
translate
the note
right,
on
basically.
the note it was supposed to bend up to, and then kept going.
Oh no!
So it's the completely wrong note. Or pitch bend that starts too high, it starts too low, and then goes even lower. It's a fiasco. This FM synthesis going on right now.
You know, at first, when I heard this song, if I didn't know what this song actually sounded like, I would have been like, whoa, man, this is a psychedelic track. Like this is some
Trash.
weird,
Yeah, if this
you're
was
high
like-
on strange ancient Egyptian drugs and you don't know what's going on music, except it's God,
They
I don't know
were
what's
playing
going
it on a
on
sitar,
music,
it would
except
make more
it's-
sense.
God. Except that's probably what they were doing when they made it, so whatever.
All right, back to
Whatever.
the Doom novel. Since we played this game before, man. The lieutenant isn't going to stand for this. Oh, I'm gonna read this in a boo-boo voice. The lieutenant
Oh,
isn't
man.
going to like this. Snapped the lieutenant.
Oh,
Wait,
man.
what? Go forth,
Yeah,
take
that
out
is
the
the
soldiers. The gunny broke his own
Yeah, that
drill.
is the lieutenant.
Sir, we don't even know who they are. Sanders says they're wearing robes and hoods. Scythe of Glory, said Weems, again raising his voice. No, sir, just robbed men. Gunny, I gave you an order. Now take down those men! Arlene flashed past me again. What the hell's going on? She hissed. Weems wants us to take him down. Fly, they're monks! You gotta stop the crazy son of a bitch. I was second-ranking non-com. Goforth will listen to me. Goforth would listen to me, I thought. I hunched over and jogged to the gunnery sergeant. Gunny, Arlene says they're monks. Taggart, right, says Weems, as if bumping into me at an oyster-shucking party. Sir, they're just monks. Do you know that for sure? Does anyone know for sure? Sanders said. Does Sanders have to deal with Colonel Brinkle every week? Sir, began the gunny, I think we should recon at the group before we open fire.
Let me intervene.
Yes.
Jabba Fett recommended we read the voices in the Duke Nukem voice. That's a good question.
Monks, freaking monks! I snapped. Maybe it was the bodies.
man.
Our body parts, the mountain air, thin oxygen, a gut full of Weems, Arlene's frightened, incredulous stare, the way Goforth's jaw set and he turned to give the order. A 20-year man, he wasn't going to throw it away over a bunch of lousy religious dinks. Dinks again, man. Freaking dinks. But suddenly it occurred to
God,
me,
yeah.
if Weems were lying face down in the deep muddy, he wouldn't be giving no orders. Then we could let the damned monks disappear. No one would be the loser. Excuse me, sir, I said, tapping the Louis on the shoulder. He turned, and I Georged him. Georged him? Is this like some... I don't know military lingo, man. Is that a thing?
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh. I don't think that's a...
Yeah.
I don't know. Wow.
Full body
Georged him? That's a new one in my
Came
book.
out of Orlando, where
And
I
it's
grew
going
up.
right back
Picked up
out.
speed over Paris Island. Hooked in Kafiristan and turned off the lights of Mr. Lieutenant Weems and picked Nizgani. I'll go with it. Nizgania.
Nizgania?
Alas,
Nizgania.
they
Nizgania.
only flickered. Power was
Google
restored.
Translate,
The dork
help.
didn't have a glass jaw. I have to give him that. Oh, I guess Georged means he punched him. Nizgani? Okay.
Oh, I guess it's just Nizgani. The J is silent.
Weems sprawled messily in the mud, and a couple of
Yeah,
boys were on me like monkeys on a tree. Weems flopped for a bit like a giant spider. Then he found his hands and knees. He glared at me for a moment, an evil smile cracking his face. Later, he said. Then he turned back to Goforth. That doesn't mean crap, gunnery sergeant. Now take down those men. Or are you going to frag me instead? Goforth looked at me, looked at Weems, looked at the ground. Then he clicked his M92 to rock and roll and quietly said, Fox, take down those men. Wait, Fox and Bill are here? Whoa!
Yep. Wait, you just click? Did they
Yeah,
just click?
it did.
Yep. Oh man. Well, if we can figure out who Fox is, then Fox and Bill have to have their own voices. Oh man.
I closed
All
my
right.
eyes, listening to the
Oh,
powder
man.
hiss, bullets crack, and the metal clang
All
of the
right.
receiver slamming back in home. Okay. Sorry. I should stop saying sorry, but I really am.
Huh?
The screams of the dying, the shouts of the victors. I smelled the smoke. From the smokeless power, the primer, flesh blood. I'm in hell, I remember thinking. I'm in hell. Where's hell? We mopped up the enemy troops in record time. Strange thing, none of them shot back. Fact, no weapons were found, just 53 men ranging from preteen to 70 or 80, wearing brown robes and hoods, shaved heads, and a couple carrying prayer sticks. The boys wouldn't get off my back. Weems wouldn't even walk around where I could see him, the murdering bastard. While he formally charged me, and I opted for a formal court-martial instead of a captain's mast. Jesus and Mary, somebody should put a bullet in his brain. I could taste the trigger. I don't know how I was ever going to be shriven if I couldn't feel remorse. Sorry, I'm doing this with limited hands. Oh, that was the prologue.
Yep. This is the first time
Chapter
pages
1.
Synced up for me. All right.
I didn't miss Earth, but I sure as hell hated Mars. Sitting in a dingy mess hall on Phobos, one of the 2 tiny Martian moons, seemed like a nice compromise. Ordinarily, the CO, Major Boyd, would have handed me over to the Jaggies for trial, but the day after Weems gave the fateful order that bought him a mouthful of fist from yours truly, the 15th received orders to answer a distress call from Phobos. Fox Company was due to rotate back to the world anyway. Boyd decided to mail us to Mars. They poured me onto the transport along with the rest of Fox. Plenty of time to fry my butt after we figured out what the hell UAC miners were squawking about this time. The Corps. All glory to the Corps. I don't think you know what the Marine Corps truly means to me. It has a bit to do with my father. No, he was not a Marine. God, no! Maybe something to do with growing up in Orlando, Florida, and Los Angeles, seeing the first airsets? Hollywood Boulevard, Universal Studio East, then even phonier real thing out west, glitter and tinsel. But what was the real?
Oh, ersatz is like a fake Chinese knockoff. Also, according to Jabbo Fett, Georging someone is when you declare something mission accomplished, but in reality you've only succeeded at getting yourself into debt.
He told me himself. Sorry. Everything in my life rang as hollow as the boulevard until I found my core in the core. Get it? Hey? Oh.
Are we?
By the way, the swastika
is this
thing.
Real life? Is this
they
fantasy?
They mutilated it in later Doom versions, and for the console versions, they even further mutilated it to not even being a remotely recognizable symbol. Honor wasn't just something you did to credit cards. A lie wasn't called spin control, and spin was something you only put on a cue ball. Yeah, right. You think you know more than I? I know it was all BS. Even in the core, I know the service was riddled up and down with lying sacks of dung, like everything else. There is no cause so noble it will not attract fugheads. Wow, that's really Doog-esque. Fugheads. One of those sci-fi writers, Arlene is always shoving at me. David Niven or something. But god damn it. At least we say the word honor without laughing. At least we have a code. I will not lie, cheat, or steal, nor tolerate those among us who do. Even if individuals don't always live up to it, at least it's there to reach for, even if our grasp falls far short. At least decency has a legal definition right there in the Universal Code of Military Justice. At least respect means more than leaving the other guy's graffiti alone. At least we don't do more crap by 6 a.m. than most of you civilians do all day. At least the Corps is the Corps Semper Fidelis, damn it. We know who we are and why we are. Do you? You done, Doom Guy? Give me a break. Arlene never saw it the way I did.
Shut up.
Majority of one. But you can't understand me unless you understand this much. There is a place in this world where decent men walk the streets, where water flows up hills, where miracles happen behind enemy lines and without air support, and where a guy, boy or girl, will stand on the wall that divides you people from the barbarians at the gate, take a bullet, and shoot back at the son of a bitch what fired it. Unless you've been there, you'll never know. I want to take you there. The long trip to Mars was dull, and the little voice in the back of my head had plenty of time to ask whether I would do anything different given the chance. I had to honestly answer no. Funny thing is, I had always hoped I'd go to space one day, but not like this. Oh god, this Phobos lab music. Ugh. They got like fake FM vibraphones to replace the strings. It doesn't work.
Okay, so Meckel asks what's even going on right now, and from what I can presume, Doomguy was on an ops that went bad, and they ended up murdering some monks, but Doomguy tried to say, "No, you can't do that," and punched his lieutenant in the face, so now he's in trouble. But now we're going to Mars because UAC sent out a distress beacon, and Doomguy is getting
the
all
lights have yet to spark and flick out of the air or whatever yet. My idea was to be on a deep space exploratory ship, pushing out beyond the bounds of the known solar system. But when I scored a 60 on the Mill Space App test, the chances of me receiving a deep space assignment ranged somewhere between infinitesimal and forget it. That's pretty good. I like that. The big surprise was that one right uppercut to the concrete jaw of Lieutenant Weems opened my pathway to the stars. Not only would I do it again, I'd still enjoy it. I stared at those two men whose job it was to guard me and had a strange feeling of unreality. "Want some coffee?" One of them asked with something that sounded like actual concern. His face reminded me of one of the monks. "Yeah," I said. "Black, if you don't mind." He smiled. We'd run out of cream back in Kafiristan, and when he hopped up to Phobos, the supply situation was no improvement. The guard's name was Ron Donham. The other guard's name was Ron too. I call him Ron too, Donham. But they didn't see any humor in it. We didn't talk much. But
yeah, that's actually Ron Donham isn't real, but they're both actually wrong.
Yeah, this is one of those maps that was replaced. They replaced all the star textures with weird brick textures. It's weird. We didn't talk much. It seemed a little insulting only having two Marines protecting such a dangerous type as yours truly. But the other men were busy figuring out what had gone wrong on Phobos. After we upshipped to Mars base, we sat for a solid day trying to figure out why the UAC miners on Phobos had sent us distress call and why they didn't answer net. And the Marines, you spend eternity so bored you'd look forward to your own court-martial as a break in the tedium. Then an unexpected danger occurred. Wait, I read that wrong. Then an unexpected danger with huge jagged edges comes rolling over us all the set routines, a reminder that the universe is a dangerous place. The message we received from Phobos was, "Things coming through the gate." When something that serious hits the fan, boredom is returned to its proper place as a lecture. The court-martial of the corporal was deemed less important than a potential threat to Mars, and not important at all compared to an imminent threat to the profits of the Union Aerospace Corporation. With a ringing cry of, "Sounds like they've been smoking something up there," Lieutenant Weems boldly led his men into the transport. At first I thought I'd be left behind on the Mars base, but either Weems thought I might prove useful to have along, or else he just didn't want a loose end. I volunteered to go along. Sometimes I'm not very bright. Major Boyd did his best to brief us by video feed, under the obvious handicap of complete ignorance. He made the best of it. We were issued pressure suits in case we had to leave the immediate vicinity of the gate. You couldn't stay very long outside the pressure zone, and you'd get mighty cold mighty fast, but at least the suits give you a fighting chance to get to a ship or a zone before you were sucking vacuum. I was pleased to be issued a suit. I was less pleased that Weems didn't issue me a weapon. While I contemplated the lethal uses of common household articles, PFC Ron 2 brought me the promised cup of coffee. It tasted bad enough to be a strategic weapon of deterrence. The expression on the guard suggested that he might have sampled it before passing it on to me. But maybe he was just plain scared of the situation. I couldn't really blame him. A word about these gates on Phobos and Deimos, the two tiny moons of Mars. You've probably heard about the gates, even though officially it's a secret. They were here when we first landed on Mars. It was a hell of a shock discovering that someone or something had beaten us by 1,000,000 years to our own closest neighbor. It was long before I joined up, of course, but I found an ancient and wholly artificial structures on Phobos. Oh, I read that wrong. Moving on. Despite the complete lack of any form of life on Mars, it's pretty clear that they played the Martians, rat gash of Mars, and Mars, arise! Me, I figured it was a race of alien anthropologists. They got in there, said, not quite ready yet, and they left a helipad, in scare quotes, in case they decided to return, which they might do tomorrow or 100,000 years from now. Somebody decided to call them gates, even though they just sat there doing nothing for as long as we've known about them. But surrounding them was a zone of about half Earth normal gravitation on a moon whose normal gravity is this side of 0. In addition to the big inert gates, there were also small pads scattered here and there that instantly transported a person from point A to point B within the area, evidently without harm. Teleports, if you will. I had heard about them, but never seen one. Damned if you ever get me into one either. When the Union Aerospace Corporation bribed enough congressmen for the exclusive contract to mine Phobos and Deimos, they built their facilities around the gates, taking advantage of the artificial gravity, except for those parts of the operation that wanted low gravity, which they built outside the pressure zones. After the big reorganization, the Corps got to the task of guarding the gates. Well, it looks as though the big gates weren't quite so inert as we all thought. Once we landed on Phobos, the gunny dropped me and my 2 guards at the abandoned airbase depot in the western pressure zone, anti-spinwards, and took the rest of Fox Company onto the UAC facilities. Weems in tow to re-establish contact and secure the situation. All my friends went with Weems, leaving me with the 2 Rons for company. The Phobos facility is built like a gigantic underground cone extending from many hundreds of meters into the rock. There are a bunch of levels. I'm not even sure how many. 8? 9? 8! Get it? There are 9 levels in episode 1. I think it's a reference.
Oh.
Clever.
Yeah. Or the Night Circus of Hell, who knows? Which could also be a
The whole
reference to
thing
that.
is built in the center of the solar system's largest strip mine, which would be terrible for Phobos ecology, except Phobos doesn't have an ecology, of course. I think we've been over that. That's weird.
I think that's just Doom Guy being redundant at this point. He's so out of...
He did say the trip to Mars was dull after all.
Incredibly.
It's an airless moon of ice and rock. Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
he's there and he's still bored.
Pick up eventually, I think. The facility was on the opposite hemisphere from the base. Big deal. The entire moon is only about 25 kilometers in diameter. You can walk from one pole to the other, except most of it's disturbingly close to 0G outside the pressure zones. We had the radio on mess hall and were periodically picking up messages from Weems Weasels. We'd about given up hope of hearing anything from the UAC guys who used to be on Phobos. As I sipped the scalding wake-up call, wondering who I could sue if I burned my tongue, I couldn't help but scrutinize the 2 Rons. Neither gave the impression of being on top of the situation. They kept glancing at the closed cafeteria doors, at the radio, at each other. They weren't paying much attention to their prisoner. They were also having the same conversation every 20 minutes or so. It generally started like this. "What do you think's happening?" one would ask the other. I was so tired of listening to variations on "I don't know," so I volunteered a theory. "Somehow the gates turned on, and whoever built them decided the UAC was trespassing. Maybe they were wiped out." "But who attacked us?" asked Ron 1. Funny, I never thought of the Union Aerospace as part of us.
Can I interrupt as well real quick? I don't know if it's just the copy I've got,
Can I
but
interrupt
I swear
as well real quick?
I can go back up here and yeah, it's listed as United Aerospace Corporation in some parts. I don't know if that's just my copy though, because there it says Union again. When the United Aerospace Corporation bribed enough congressmen for the exclusive contract. Yeah.
Page? Is it still page 12?
It's like probably on the previous page. Oh, page 6. I believe. Oh, okay. Wait. Oh, sorry. That's my page 6. My copy is way different from yours. So, the last page that you were on, likely.
Two wrongs don't make
So,
it right.
the last page that you
Yay!
were on, likely. Yeah, it's right. It's right before the 2 Rons thing.
Good God, are your pages like huge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my pages are
yeah,
apparently
I just
huge.
got like a paperback here.
So.
Yeah, well.
Bad PDFization. Oh well.
Union Aerospace. They said monsters were coming through the gate, said Ron 2 with the same sense of surprise he displayed the other half-dozen times. They said things, I corrected. Neither heard me. Things or monsters, I had faith in Arlene and the rest of the guys. The guards didn't strike me as being overly interested in the subject of high-order physics. Neither do you, Doom Guy. They had reached firm conclusions in the realm of biological sciences, however. They didn't believe in monsters. The truth is, neither did I. In one respect, I was as bad as the PFCs. There were questions that couldn't be answered yet, but they wouldn't stay out of my mind. Who was the enemy? How had they reached Phobos through the gateways? The most troubling of all, why hadn't Fox found any bodies yet? Major Boyd and Colonel Brinkle back on Earth would want answers to these questions and a lot more. Suddenly, the radio sputtered to life, grabbing our attention, an invisible hand reaching out to choke the breath from us. It was PFC Grayson, out front on recon, reporting to Weems, who was elsewhere in the facility. The young Marine had found a corpse. Weems radioed back the obvious instructions. "ID impossible, sir," reported Grayson, his voice tense. "It's in too many pieces. I can positively say it looks like it was a white male. It looks like Jesus, sir. It looks like claw marks. And this body's been chewed." Wild beasts on earless Phobos. Judging by the sickened expressions from Ron and Ron, it was all too evident that neither of these specimens had ever seen combat. I've seen my share. And all at once. The idea of living long enough to attend my own court-martial seemed very appealing. Even 5 years at Leavenworth looked good. The fact that I didn't have a gun crawled around deep inside my gut like a tapeworm. Right then I decided to remedy the situation. The masticated body parts had been found in the processing plant. We heard Weems over the radio issuing orders to converge on that point when a burst of static interfered with the reception. When Grayson's voice came in again, it was loud and clear. Up until that moment, the universe still made some kind of sense to me. Of all the military scenarios running through my mind, none prepared me for what happened next. "Jesus Christ! It's not human!" shouted Grayson. "Too big! Shaped all wrong! Humanoid! Red eyes!" While Grayson was providing this fragmentary report, he punctuated his description with bursts from his rifle. Before he could become more coherent, we heard an inarticulate roar of animal pain from whatever he was shooting, and then he shouted, "I can't put it down!" The next scream we heard was fully human. My whole body went cold. Jesus! Arlene was down there. "Keep cool, keep your head, she's a Marine, damn it." One of the Rons looked like he was about to throw up. "Okay," I said. "This has gone on long enough. We know we're in this together. Give me a gun and let's make some plans." Arlene were being shot at, goddammit. I intended to shoot back. The honor of the Corps was at stake, not to mention my best buddy's life. The radio reduced to background noise for the moment as Weems the Weasel tried to control the situation. The nervous looks exchanged between the dynamic duo in the mess hall made me wonder about training that completely destroys initiative. On the brink of death, all the Rons cared about was going by the book, even if that book printed their own obituaries in flaming letters. One finally generated the initiative to say, "We can't give you a weapon." I tried again. "Staying alive is the objective here. We've all got buddies down there. They don't court-martial the dead. You can't help anyone or defend anything if you're dead. Now give me a piece." If either of them had showed a glimmer of intelligence or guts, I wouldn't have taken the next step, but they insisted on being idiots. Jesus Christ, as the Godfather said, there are men who go through life begging to be killed. End of chapter 1.
I think I've got a proper print of it now. Yeah, I went and looked, and yes, this is actually chapterized, even though it doesn't have the pages. Yep, and there it is, the final line, just as you read it. Awesome.
Oh, okay.
I don't have pages, I have chapters that I can scroll through. However, in the original text I was reading, well, I mean, I didn't even have the prologue, right, so I was super lost for a moment.
I'm going to do the next chapter,
started
and you
reading.
Take over for the next couple. Yeah, my voice is getting a bit sore.
Alright, if you need a break, yeah.
"Shut up," said the first Ron. "You're going back to detention," said the other. This was truly a pathetic spectacle. Suddenly I had become the threat in their eyes, simply because I was forcing them to face an unpleasant situation head-on. A number of things happened at once. More screams and gunfire came over the radio. I thought I heard a woman scream. The nearest Ron unholstered his 10mm pistol and pointed it at me. Then the poor jerk gestured the direction he wanted me to walk. He gestured with the hand that was holding the pistol. With an invitation like that, what could I do? We'll be right back after these messages. Sorry. Doom guy just shrugs. Slap bass starts playing. I caught his arm, moved the gun aside, and rabbit punched him in the kidneys. The gun slid across the floor. The other Ron was still fumbling with his holster, so I turned and jabbed him in the throat. Not hard enough to kill, but with enough impact to keep him busy trying to breathe. "Sorry, Rons. Arlene PFC Sanders means more than the both of you rolled together." I turned back to the first one, who surprised me by regaining his feet and making a grab with his good arm. Too bad for him, he was off balance, and he fell toward me. Providing another irresistible target. I flat-palmed the back of his head, and he was out like a light. The other one was still doubled over, trying to breathe as I collected their weapons. "You guys aren't exactly cut out for the light drop infantry," I said in as kindly a voice as I could muster. Now I had a problem. They weren't the bad guys, but I couldn't trust their goodwill not to come after me. Their fear might be enough to keep them out of my hair, but I couldn't count on that either, nor did I want to leave them sitting ducks for the hostile forces that were loose in the station. So I helped the one who was still conscious to his feet and waited for glazed eyes to clear a bit. "Listen, Ron, we've got a situation here. So far as I can tell, we only have these two sidearms between the three of us. This is not good. The lieutenant should have left us with some weapons, don't you think?" It was a rhetorical question, so I kept on. "I'm leaving one of these guns with you, unloaded." I let him sink back on the floor and slid the ammo clip across the floor. "When you feel well enough to reload, I suggest you barricade the door better than I can lock it from the outside, and wait for orders." He looked sick as a dog, but nodded, and I left him to his own devices. I pocketed the remaining ammo clips. I wanted all the edge a few extra rounds could provide, until I could find an armory and lay my hands on some real firepower, if the factory had any. As I locked down the mess hall doors behind me, I heard the radio sending out useless static crackle. No Weems, no Goforth, no Arlene. Well, last I heard we were all going to have a party with Grayson's remains as the guest of honor. I didn't like the particular train of thought, so I derailed it. Time to get serious. After 10 minutes of humping around the... Oh my god, they incorporated wall humping in the book? Jeez Louise.
Oh, wow. Oh.
After 10 minutes of humping around the compound, I found a land cart. The last one. That was thoughtful of them. Phobos is so small, a diameter of only 22 kilometers. You said 25 earlier. That I could almost hoof it to the factory.
What? Yeah,
Particularly in the ultra-low gravity, but I might need to evac the survivors. And in any case, speed counts. Are they going into Doom Guy's super speed?
I don't know, but Jobo Fett, the reason it's eerily close to Doom 3 is because that was supposed to be like a reimagining of Doom 1. So there are.
Although I'm not claustrophobic,
there's similarities there.
I'd lately had my fill of blank walls. The spaceship was the worst, traveling through 1,000,000 miles of nothing in a cubicle just so you could reach another cubicle at the end is not my idea of the conquest of space. Woo! At least for one of
Okay, that's pretty
At least for the
alright.
one day we spent on Mars, we had a view. The domes were made of super thick, insulated plastic, but were cleverly designed to give the illusion of being thin as a soap bubble. The only trouble was that the view wasn't very impressive. A blank expanse of empty desert broken by an equally barren dark purple sky. I was only so thrilled with looking at the stars. I liked something bigger up there. Although we could see Phobos from Mars base camp, it was so tiny it almost looked like a bright star trucking across the sky. Not enough moon for a melancholy mood. But now as I crawled the land cart out under the black airless sky of Phobos, I enjoyed my first genuine feeling of freedom since I left Earth. Mars loomed in the sky, 3/4 full, larger than any moon, and burning red as all blood of all armies ever spilled in uncountable battles across stupid drooling face of eternity, the face of a monster. By contrast, the gray dull surface of Phobos looked like brittle laundry soap or dried oatmeal, is what it looked like. The only variation was Stickney,
Ew.
a huge crater that covered 1/4 of the moon's surface and filled the rest with impacts, striations. I don't know.
Whoa, striations?
Somebody, source.com.
I guess. I don't know.
At that moment, I
striations.
thought that Mars
Yeah.
might be the last beautiful sight I would ever experience. Ahead lay nothing good. They thought I might shortly die. The thought that I might shortly die didn't bother me nearly as much as the dread of letting down my loved ones. Again. Sorry. There weren't that many back
getting
on
a little
Earth,
redundant.
but there was one here on Phobos that meant everything to me. Maybe I did love her. I couldn't say. Turn the page. I mean that literally. I couldn't say it with her hooked up with Wilhelm Dodd, the dirty bastard. But that didn't mean crap. If Arlene were in trouble, then putting my life on the line was the easiest choice I'd ever made. Doing my duty didn't mean I had a death wish. It meant that I would have to stay alive as long as possible to find her and hump her out. What? Doom Guy, give it a rest. Alright, and the rest of Fox 2.
Oh, man.
Oh, jeez. Not safe for work.
Oh, he's gonna hump them out too? Oh, God.
This is before
Oh,
MC.
Doom Guy. Jesus.
Jeez. No, these
Oh,
are
man.
all humans.
So
I
MC
think,
is
right
canon
now.
then? Well, I mean, you know,
Yeah, I guess so.
Doom Guy humps a lot, is what I'm getting at. He's got a humping problem. He's like a horny dog. He is a horned dog.
So with Mars looming
God.
gigantic and our sun a shrunken, distant ball of flame, quickly setting, I crawled towards the factory. I sped through Phobos daylight, across the Terminator, and into the black night. at approximately 55 miles an hour. It's scientifically accurate. My stomach started roiling the moment I left the zone and entered the correct gravitational field of Phobos. Not quite 0 G, but close enough for a queasy stomach. I had to watch my speed carefully here. I wasn't sure what the escape velocity for Phobos was. Probably a lot more than a crawling land cart can make, but I sure as hell didn't want to end up in orbit. The tractor treads didn't work too well up there. You know, I like to imagine that the speed Doom guy runs at would break escape velocity for Phobos.
You know, it might. I don't know what the escape velocity is, but it can't be that high considering it's like a third of Earth's gravity.
I wished I could...
So... 3 point something G's, so that's... How fast is terminal velocity here? I don't know. You could probably... If there was a road pointing, you know, going in a straight line until you were out into space, like real straight, not following the curve of the moon,
oh, man.
You could probably drive up Phobos.
I'm gonna do the Duke Nukem moon buggy level. You know, well, you didn't play the expansion for Duke Nukem Forever. But there's a moon buggy part, and I just want to do that on Phobos and break escape
Sad
velocity. Where was I?
That sounds fun.
I wished I could... What?
Sorry,
nice.
Jobo Fett.
Man, that guy's funny.
Continue.
You're a funny guy, Jobo
On your marks,
Fett.
get set, orbit. Yeah. You should join us sometime. You know, it's up to you, though. No pressure.
I wished I could drive a land
Please
cart
continue.
right inside the refinery, but I had to leave it in the garage on the surface. It sure felt good to get back under even half normal gravity in the refinery zone. The silent station lurked below the surface, containing what was left of Fox Company. They were all dead. The final gunshot was an... Oh, wait. Sorry.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah!
That was a pretty great explosion. Yeah!
One reason I like the console version of Phobos normally better is just they put the barrels in such a way that they replace all the demons with zombie men and they gib all the zombies with the barrel, and it's tremendous.
Oh, so they did something right, and because it slows down the game so much, it's just
wonderful. Jobo Fett, we are taking callers. I am reading poorly, but I don't mind having other people come and interrupt me. As I began the long descent, I promised to keep very, very quiet. Early in a career in the light drop infantry, you learn an absolute essential of lying to yourself. Sure enough, there was noise. I was the source of it. Even in the low G, my boots squeaked lightly. Each squeak was magnified by my imagination, as if giant rodents nibbled at my heels. The rectangle of light beneath me grew in size as there was no turning back. Oh yeah, sign of evil again.
Yeah. So sorry, what interrupted you?
Oh, no.
Paying
I'm just
attention
saying
to the book,
Jobo Fett could come interrupt
the video, and the chat all at the same time.
I thought.
Oh yeah, that's no problem at all. Sorry, Meckle. Oh, and just to clarify, yes, if you see Future Cowboy in the chat, that is me.
I didn't know that was you.
I'll get a real handle someday. Yeah, no. I was letting everyone know, but yes, there you go. Shit, we gotta set that up later. Sorry, behind the scenes stuff.
But there was no telling who I'd find inside. The access tube ladder looked a safer bet. A popular feature of these permanent stations is how there's always light and air so long as the small reactor is working. Imagine my disappointment on climbing down the ladder into the hangar when I noticed the first signs that something was seriously wrong. The lights flicked and sparked out of the air!
You went in one hangar?
Yeah! Flickering, and I didn't hear the whine of the air recirculators. The light was also adequate to show empty corridor stretching in front of behind me. This section didn't seem to show any signs of recent conflict, and no sooner did a small part of me make the mistake of relaxing than I heard a sharp hissing sound. Before I had time to think, The 10mm was in my hand, and I had spun around into a defensive crouch. Oh, Doomguy can crouch? I'm sure I scared. I'm sure I scared the leaky pipe real bad.
He came later.
Times like this, nothing is more welcome than an anticlimax. Oh, console port thing. E1M8 just leads straight into E2M1. They had a completely different ending and everything. You don't lose all your weapons. You don't die in the accident. You just go straight to this level with all your stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah, sure.
Not as dramatic, but it's cool. Anyways.
Where was I?
I'm trying to find where the lights flicker and spark out of the
air.
air.
As I examined the damaged pipe, mindful not to be scalded by escaping steam, I realized that I might have found something interesting after all. The pipe had been dented by a blunt metal object of some kind, and there was a rusty stain on the floor underneath it. There was really only one direction to go, so I went. That direction would also lead me toward the hangar control room, where I could swear I heard low growling noises. Somehow, I didn't feel like reholstering my gun. I didn't like the way my palm was sweating either. Taking it nice and easy, I proceeded down the corridor, having a good long view ahead of me. No room for surprises. I didn't hear the animalistic noises again, but that didn't make me feel any better. Finally, I reached the control room. Right before I pushed the door open, I felt a sudden shiver on the back of my neck and spun around trying to look down both directions at once. Like one of those crazy cartoon drawings of a double take. But there was nothing. At least nothing I could see. No casualties yet, thank God. The control room was empty, but it had a particular odor like sour lemons. After months in a barracks, whether in Kafiristan, on Mars, or in space, you get used to the smell of paint and gallons of disinfectant. But this was nothing like that. I didn't like it one bit. It took only a few minutes to establish that all the equipment was in working order, except for the communication system, which was smashed into non-existence. Then I had a brainstorm. There might be a gun locker here, something left over from when Phobos was an Air Force outpost. Something a bit heavier than a 10mm pistol would greatly improve the adjustment to my new environment. I found the locker and jimmied open the door fairly quietly, but there were no weapons, bare cupboard, not even a slingshot. But so it shouldn't be a total waste. There was a nice selection of last year's flak jackets. Not combat armor, but better than skin and a pressure suit. One looked like it fit me, so I put it on. There seemed to be nothing else to do but resume my journey along the corridor that must ultimately take me into the rest of the station. I was researching. Doomguy would never research anything. I was reaching the dangerous psychological state when you feel that you are the only living person in a battlefield situation. Another word for it is carelessness. Reconnoiter, you bastard, my little voice was telling me to get back to the program. Man, I should learn how to read sentence breaks better. And not a moment too soon, a human figure came striding purposefully in my direction, from just around the curve of the corridor. I almost shot for it first and asked questions later. Hold on. E2M2 containment area has the worst. Well, it's got the worst rendition of E1M1 music, and also there's a little rendering glitch. I don't know if it's my copy, but I like to imagine it's just all copies of 32X Doom.
Oh man.
Momentarily. Actually. And how?
It's the
Man,
fart
I like
song.
how the imps just kind of strafe. I'm gonna take this moment to take a drink of water.
Oh. Good call.
Alright. If I would turn my head. Is this where it is? It'll be obvious when we see it. Don't believe you me.
Let's see.
Yep.
Oh man, that is kind of trippy. It's because they're actually walking sideways, but their sprite is only front facing, so it looks like they're strafing.
I I'm trying to figure out the controls for the dang auto map too. I don't remember them because I played this like a while ago.
Yeah. Also, I hope you have your place in the book because I totally lost where we were.
I just really want to see that PC. Bad rendering thing, man. Oh, there it is. Hello, Infinity.
Whoa, God.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Where was I? Yeah, it was.
That was cool.
I almost shot first and asked questions at some undetermined future date. Reminding myself that Arlene and my buddies were here, as well as UAC civilians, I relaxed the old trigger finger that crucial centimeter. But I kept the gun on the human shape and experienced a sickening moment of, not of empathy, but of reluctant understanding of Lieutenant Weems and the monks. When the fear snake slithers around inside your gut, it's pretty damned easy to just start squeezing off at anything that moves. Then I recognized the shape as one Corporal William Gates. Bill! I shouted. Relief flooding me at contact with a fellow light drop. What the hell's going on? Are you alright? Where's Arlene? The rest of Fox? At no moment was there any doubt that this person approaching me was the corporal with whom I'd played poker, drank, and told nasty jokes. We'd been through enough together that I didn't mind that he was one of the monkeys who jumped on my back when I popped Weems. Bill had a very distinctive face, with his eyes spaced wide apart and a scar that ran him from his prominent chin into his lower lip. He was walking in an erratic manner. Fatigue, I assumed. Men in combat situations get very weird, and I'd seen plenty worse than this. Battle fatigue might even have explained the strange words coming out of his mouth. Stuff that sounded like an old horror movie. Bill was staring straight ahead, but he didn't seem to recognize me as he chanted, "The gate! The gate is the key! The key is the gate!" That's Bill. Thank you. I didn't like the spittle on his chin either.
Yeah.
As much as I wanted to run over to him, I held back. There was something really wrong here. Nothing I could put my finger on yet. But it was like the smell in the control room, little hints that something was FUBAR'd on Phobos. Bill! I tried again. Bill, it's your cuz, fly! This time, he noticed me. I could tell. He grinned the most evil grin I'd ever seen in my life. Then he raised his rifle and opened fire. Even then, I didn't want to believe.
Oh my God! So he gave Doom Guy the Doom Guy face.
When was this book written?
Whoa. Yeesh.
Let me.
In the 90s, probably.
In the 90s?
Well,
I think 96.
Actually, let me look. Novel by David Hugh. Based on Doom Software.
Boom.
Copyright page. Copyright in 1996. First pocketbooks print.
Even then, I didn't want to believe what was happening.
June 96.
Fortunately, my bodily reflexes were more realistic. Diving behind a pillar, I was already preparing to return fire. I had to try one more time. Stop firing, Bill. Let's fly. God damn it, stop shooting. Yep. Okay, chapter 3, your turn.
The ropes. Okay.
No, they're just
Oh wait, do these have chapter titles? Because if they do, I can't see them. Oh, good. Nice and boring then. Chapter 3. Bill didn't stop. He came closer. Desperate, feeling like Cain, I returned fire. Given the half-dead condition Bill was in, killing him all the way should have been easy. The first bullet took him in the throat, above his Kevlar armor. That should have done the job, but he kept on coming. I pumped more rounds at Bill, and finally one connected with his head. That dropped him. But even his brains and blood oozed onto the corridor floor. His body continued to flop around the way a chicken does when its head had been removed. Humans don't do that, and they don't have a sour lemon smell either, which was suddenly so overpowering that I could barely breathe. I stared. shaking like a California earthquake.
Oh my god.
I was looking
Bill was
at
the
a
zombies.
zombie. Ah! Zombie man! Bill, no! Poor Bill. I don't know we're gonna tell Fox. That was all that kept racing through my head, screaming the word over and over again between my ears. Zombie! 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 What utter shit. Maybe Arlene could believe in all that crap in Bull Roar. She watched those damned horror movies all the time? I'm getting some weird artifacts in my copy, sorry. Oh. Oh. Oh, I see. Okay. I wasn't never gonna watch anything like a freaking zombie. I was crazy. Bugging freaked like some hippie punk snot flying on the belladonna.
No, all those hippies on
What?
the belladonna.
Sorry. No, I have no idea. That's a whatever. Wow. Sorry. Now it's my turn to apologize. There are no goddamn zombies. This is the real world. This is... Gates flopped some more, then stiffened up so quick, it was like he'd been dead for hours.
Yeah.
Wait a second. What? Am I reading that right?
Gates is. I guess one of the Fox.
Okay. Oh.
Fox people.
That's kind of Bill.
Wait a sec.
Bill Gates?
No, they said his
No.
name.
No.
Oh my God!
No.
Corporal William Gates.
No.
How did I miss that?
Oh my God! It's Bill Gates! Oh man! Wow! Whoa!
That's hilarious.
Okay. Goodness.
Oh man.
We just murdered Bill Gates. How terrifying. Doom guy, you monster. So
man.
no wonder Bill Gates
was
is
just
in
so
that
excited
one
that it was
video.
Bill.
He's
I didn't realize the
oh
rest of
God.
his name.
And I'm just gonna be imagining that the guy, the Doom guy just shot, is just wearing a trench coat and has a shotgun. Kind of got the slow walk and
Jeez Louise.
oh man. Oh, Doom guy, why
man.
you monster? Oh. Okay, I'm glad I stopped and pointed that out because wow. All right. Bill Gates flopped some more, then stiffened up so quick, it was like he'd been dead for hours. Scared, but drawn toward him like iron filings to a magnet, fillings, I crept forward and touched his corpse. Billy Boy was ice cold. This meat was decidedly not fresh. I gagged, then turned aside and vomited. He was blue. His skin was tough, like leather. Private Gates was a freaking zombie. Huh? Rather flex my dead muscles. Walking Dead. They killed him. They then sucked the life out of his body so that in just half an hour, he was many ways dead. Arlene! I knew what I had to do next. I was crying while I did it! Doom Guy! Can I get crying Doom Guy portrait now? I hoped I'd find some magazines to go with my new acquisition, a 10mm M211 semi-automatic gas-operated infantry combat weapon, Sig Cow, we called it. Bitch of a way to get one. Gates only had a single spare mag, and the one in the rifle was dead. Still shaking, I reloaded the rifle, dropping rounds left and right, and crept on, wondering who would come running at the sound of me murdering my dead chum. Leaving Gates' body, I started walking fast, then a little faster. Then suddenly I was running at 55 miles an hour, not in fear, but sick rage. The little voice in my head that usually keeps me on track was screaming about discipline and strategy and keeping my cool. The voice wanted me to make a nice, practical analysis of the evidence. I had every intention of listening to reason, but my feet and brainstem had other ideas. They were running from the face of a man who used to be a human being. Running towards the bastards who reworked him. I've always had good survival instincts. They'd never abandoned me before, not even in the worst firefights in a career that had seen its fair share of combat. But here and now, in a dull, gray cavern under the craggy surface of Phobos, my body was betraying me. If I could just stop seeing the slack jaw, the dead eyes, I could get control again. But the face wouldn't go away. Even the characteristic twitch of the right eye that used to annoy me when Gates was alive unnerved the hell out of me now. I couldn't stand to be winked at by a zombie. Yeah, zombie. Putting the word to it helped. At least I was running a little slower and started paying attention to my surroundings. I saw the walls of the corridor instead of a phantom mask of death. And I heard the loud echoing of my footsteps, my labored breathing, and the shuffling noises of other feet. 4 of them were waiting for me around the bend. 4 zombies. They stared at me with dead, dry eyes, and one of the zombies was a woman. I didn't know her. UAC worker. Thank God it wasn't Arlene. I didn't even want to think about Arlene with gray flesh and a sour lemon smell, sneering and pumping bullets at me without any recognition. I felt a rage I'd never felt before. My blood was on fire and my skin couldn't contain the boiling, liquid anger. I shook from hate so deep that military training could never reach it. I didn't want to shoot these travesties of human life. I wanted to rip them apart with my bare hands. They shuffled toward me, fumbling their weapons and pumping shots like their rifles would never run dry. What did I do? I staggered directly toward them, raising my own M211 and taking one of the Walking Dead in its shoulder. A useless shot. Come on, Doom Guy, you're better than this. Freak. It was the girl that broke the spell. Some little piece of who she once was must have been left in her brain, a faint echo or resonance of human thought. She didn't charge blindly like the other 3. She turned and fell behind cover to blink at me. My higher brain functions kicked in. I shook my head, then strafed while sidestepping to a pillar. Once behind cover, I aimed a shot into Zombie 1's head. It roared, then danced like a headless chicken and collapsed. I got the message. Only headshots got me any points. Just like in the movies. The citrus stench. Oh my god, shut up about this lemon shit. Fuck,
look, he's
guy.
traumatized by...
God!
You don't know about the lemon incident.
So lame. A lemon killed his parents. I know, I get it. Been there, done that. Ugh. The citrus stench almost overwhelmed me. I snuck a quick glance at the zombie I just smoked. Something squirmed inside its brain. Swallowing nausea, I took a beat on Zombie 2. The zombie girl chittered, and the other 2 headed jerkily toward the console behind which she crouched. I caught Zombie 2 before it made it halfway, but the other one took a position behind cover, and both it and the zombie girl returned fire. A standoff. I was trapped behind the pillar. 2 zombies behind an instrument console marked UAC and covered with sticky pad notes. The 3 of us separated by no more than 20 meters. Swiveling my head, I stared wildly around, trying to spot something useful. 5 minutes deep into the Phobos facility, and I was pinned down inside a mortuary in hell. A dozen bodies sprawled on the floor from the open control room in which I stood, all the way to a curve in the corridor beyond which I could see no farther. Recognizing a few of them didn't do my stomach any good. The others were probably UAC workers. I thought I'd seen war and... God, now that I have to do it. Kefir... God, oh, the I is clipping into the other letters. That's why. Kafiristan. Well, in my copy, the R, the I, and the S all occupy the same space. Fucking janky online bullshit. The undead and I played a game of tag around the pillar. Yep. Tag, you're it. I popped out to fire off a shot, and they sprayed my position a moment after I abandoned it. There wasn't much time to appreciate the fine details. The third time I popped around for a shot, I slipped on fresh blood.
These messages.
Even as a kid, I was good at turning mishaps into Even as a kid, I was good at turning mishaps into advantages. Special training merely augmented my natural instinct for survival. I hit the floor on my knees, then dropped to my belly to aim a shot while braced against the floor. The 3rd male zombie rose to fire down on me, and I caught it in the throat, knocking it backward. Before it could reacquire its target, yours truly, my next shot took Zombie 3 right in the eye. The female wasn't wearing a uniform or armor. I realized she must have once been a UAC worker, not a soldier, which might account for her bad aim. She fired off a couple of rounds that missed by a wide margin. I can fight this war forever, I thought, rage starting to creep back. Then it struck me. I could fight this war forever. At least until I was finally blown away and never even come close to figuring out what had happened here at Phobos Base. I had to take one of the bastards alive. If that was the right word. The plan flickered through my head between one shot and the next, and now that I finally had a plan, I was light drop infantry again. Quickly, before she could adjust and acquire me, I bolted around the pillar, head faked to the left, then cut right and hopped over the console. Zombie girl swiveled the wrong direction, and before she could turn back, I swung the butt of my sig cow into her temple. She dropped like bricks on Jupiter. The rifle sailed from her hands across the floor. I slung my own M211 across my back, flipped her over, and shoved my pistol in her mouth.
What the hell's going on?
I demanded.
Murmur.
She said. I pulled the gun out of her mouth, but she kept talking as if she had not even noticed.
It is the key. Gate is the key. Key is the gate. Coming. Kill you all.
Zombie girl's eyes shifted left and right. She was preternaturally strong, but not as strong as Big Fly Taggart. My hand drooped as I stared at her, and she snapped at it like a rabid dog trying to bite me. Abruptly, I realized why the zombies' eyes were so dry and their vision was so bad. They never blinked. I pushed the pistol against her forehead.
If there's any piece alive inside of you, you know what this thing will do to your shriveled little brains. What the hell is coming through the gate? Great ones. Gate ones.
She focused her eyes on me, seeming to see me for the first time. She didn't answer, but for a moment her face was filled with such torment that I could no longer stand the interrogation. I cocked the hammer. Her eyes rolled up, looking over my head.
You want this?
I asked. Zombie girl closed her eyes. It was the only kind of prayer left to her by the reworking that made her what she was. I closed my own eyes when I squeezed the trigger. The gunshot snapped me awake again. I jumped up, slid the sig cow into ready position, and backed away from the undead thing. What the hell was going on? I started to think I had an answer. Part of an answer.
Who built the gates?
The question endlessly on everyone's lips might be about to be answered. Maybe. But were the Great Ones coming through the gates the ones who had built them? Or had the builders already been overrun by some even more powerful, more horrific critter, who is now joyfully following gate after gate, finding and overpowering all the colonies of the builders' empire? Neither thought was pleasant. Humans were either trespassers who were about to be run off the property, or dessert after a main course of gate builders. I got the shakes, real bad. I backed into a dark corner. M211 pointed toward the corridor, the unknown, the way I hadn't been yet. I had not seen a particular body I'd half dreaded, half hoped to find. Christ. Arlene was still somewhere out there, one way or the other. I prayed she was lying dead on the deck, not stumbling toward me with dry, unblinking eyes and a sour lemon smell.
How many more lemons are gonna...
I know. No, you could say sour orange smell for once. Be a little original, Doom Guy. Come on. I might soon be the only living human on Phobos, I realized. I had little faith in the guards I'd left back in the mess hall. First contact with zombies, and they'd roll over and, to a coin a phrase, play dead. I could imagine a rotting corpse that used to be Lieutenant Weems telling them to get with the zombie program. The Rons would salute and, yes sir, themselves, straight to hell. The old survival mechanism was definitely starting to kick in for yours truly. I'd never been completely comfortable as a team player. I could see myself doing the job of zombie exterminator until I was the only biped left standing on Phobos. These living dead characters weren't very good soldiers. Yeah, I could dust them all, except for one little detail. I couldn't bear coming up against what used to be Arlene Sanders. No, That wasn't very appealing at all. It's not like she was my girl. She had her Dodd, and it seemed to satisfy her. Dodd and
I like how he
didn't
refers
really
to
like
Dodd
each other,
as
but we
it.
tolerated for Arlene's sake. Yeah. Yep, he does. I'm also a little bit perturbed by how incredibly redundant Doom Guy is. He mentions an idea or a thought and then, continues with whatever he's doing. And then the whole next 6 paragraphs is the one thing he mentioned earlier. It's like, fuck, man, get on with the
Doom
program.
Guy's Hard Lemonade
Get on with the zombie
in stores
program,
now.
even. Jeez. So it's just rotten
Like lemon
lemons in a
skins,
cup.
not even the lemon.
Ugh. Oh, yeah, just gross. All right. Arlene Sanders, I'm peeling, Dodd, it. Not love, I swear. It's just that Arlene lived in the same world I did. And I mean a lot more than just wearing the same uniform. She wasn't like any other girl I'd been... Wait,
She wasn't
any
like
other
any
girl
other girl
I'd been?
What? I
What?
mean, any other girl
Wait,
I've
can you
known.
verify that?
He's trying to play cool to the audience.
Oh. Other girl I'd been with. Sorry. I stopped there and went... Doom Guy? Is there something you're not telling us? Arlene remembered being awakened by a DI having a trash can down the hall, same as me. She remembered the jarhead getting all over her.
On your face, down, up, down, up, down, up. You keep pumping them out until I get tired.
She knew about Reveal at 0500 PT, physical training, or a dainty 8-mile run at 505 hours? I don't know how you'd say that in military time. I guess so. Arlene knew the smell of disinfectant. She knew all about scraping 2 years of accumulated crud off of a wall with a chisel so the next guy could slap on a 1/4-inch thick splash of anti-corrosion paint. She'd spent just as many months as I wrestling a goddamn floor buffer up and down a corridor, while already dog-sacked from hours of PT, obstacle course, combat training, small arms, endless, mindless instruction on how to break down and reassemble a sig cow while blindfolded, and lectures on the exotic venereal diseases of Kafiristan, Mars, Phobos Base, and Ohio. Hours that always seemed to add up to 26 or 28 per day. Arlene figured out a lot about me in record time. She was bright and just as committed to a military career as any other man in the outfit. She'd become my best buddy in the platoon. As I sat there wiping blood and crud from my face in the eye of an impossible hurricane, it helped to think about Arlene. Recalling her features drove the monsters from my mind. I played a little game with myself, not letting the horror rise up and engulf the picture I was drawing. I don't think I've ever seen a better-looking woman than Arlene, objectively considered. She wasn't drop-dead gorgeous in the conventional sense. To use an older phrase from a braver age, she was right handsome. 5'10" and compactly built, she worked out more than anyone else in the platoon. She had beautiful, well-cut muscles. Once, when for a few days she thought she might be with child, not mine, Gates had said,
She's such a man, I bet she got herself pregnant.
He didn't say it loudly. I liked how she looked at everyone through slitted eyes, giving her a hooded serpent look. She was not to be trifled with, as one skank found out when she thought it was funny to sneak up behind her and pull down her pants. The rest of us were certainly interested in seeing all we could of her well-shaped posterior, but we weren't idiots. Without turning around, she backhanded him perfectly and broke his nose. At the time, all I could think of was how much I enjoyed seeing her move. We're talking ballet here. Of course, there was a lot more to Arlene. She had a brain. Those were in short supply in the service, even in light drop, and I hated to see one go to waste. I took her to core music concerts, and she dragged me to old sci-fi movies. We got drunk together sometimes. We played poker too. But my only chance against her was when I was stone cold sober. One night we got so drunk that we fumbled our way into a kiss. It just didn't feel right. We were buddies. not lovers. Arlene and I reached an unspoken agreement when we didn't talk about it that night. As if to prove what a pal she could be, she started setting me up with dates. She had girlfriends who were always first-rate in one way or another, and they liked to oblige her by hanging out with her pal. I didn't kick. I just didn't seem able to return a commensurate favor. Arlene told me once how she wanted to save up money and go to college someday. I didn't hold that against her. I wished the best for her. The best. That thought shot down my revere in flames. What could the best be for her now in this place? Death, I guessed. Anything would be better than gray flesh, dry, unblinking eyes, and jerking limbs.
No,
I heard myself talking to no one.
she'd never allow herself to be turned into one of those.
But what if this reworkings took place after death? What if this reworking? Swallowing hard, I stood up and decided to get back to business. I needed ammo. A wild shot had destroyed the magazine and receiver of one of the SIG cows. The only thing a zombie could use for it now would be a war club, so I left it on the floor. Nobody had a select fire weapon, which was too bad. I sure missed the luxury of launching 3 or 4 rounds at a time toward a zombie head. Much better chance of a bullseye. On the other hand, if they had one of the 2 select fire M220 dog choppers that a squad carried, they might not be alive to pick through the weaponry. I shoved some magazines into my ammo pockets and loaded up both weapons. No sense carrying another SIG cow. I really wanted to get my hands on the riot gun that Dartier usually carried, though, except it would probably mean ripping it out of her twitching fingers after blowing a hole in her pretty blonde head. I followed the trail of corpses another 2 bends of the corridor, taking as much ammo as I could carry without rattling like a medieval knight. We were supposed to carry head talks so we could communicate, but I didn't find any, which was pretty suspicious. No ELFs or mill-dated buses either. Nothing whatsoever that might be used to communicate. What the hell was going on? And I always made time to check the faces. So long as one particular face wasn't there, I knew I could stand.
Thanks,
Well,
John Doom.
That's chapter 3. I'm gonna take a drink
I'll
and
pick
read the
up
chat
then.
and see what I missed.
I almost felt.
All right.
All right.
Actually, we're getting close
I'll
to
tag
the
off
end.
on
We
the
got,
next.
Like 30 minutes left. And there's... Sure.
I can do this one then. 2 for 2. All right. I almost felt relief when I ran into 2 more zombies. Now that I knew what to do, it was just some sickening sort of exercise. I only killed one of them. The other, I just popped its rifle, then shot out its knees and hips. I wanted it alive, maybe to answer some questions before I smashed in the curling mouth with the yellow teeth. I didn't recognize this one. It was a former UAC worker, used to be a man. I didn't even have as much a mind left as it had, or as Zombie Girl had. But this time, I let it babble for some time.
Big, coming through. Big, gate is the key. Killing, killing. All the killing. Coming through. Coming to kill you all. The gate is the key. The key. Hell and damns is the key. Coming through the gate. Phobos. Fear, 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 fear.
God.
Phobos. Coming from Phobos. Crossing the sticks. Pick up sticks. Sticks is the key.
I waited until it started repeating itself. After a moment, a chill crept down my neck. The thing was repeating itself exactly, like a tape loop. Suddenly more scared than I had been in hours, I put it out of its misery. And mine.
All right, I'll
God,
read the
sorry,
quotes.
doing the Duke voice kind of killed
I'll
me
do
there.
the Duke voice.
Yeah. Okay. I backed up into a dark alcove, praying nobody had light amp glasses or an infrared sensor. I needed to think this through. A single strip of hellishly bright luminescence flickered off and on in the center of the ceiling. A bare sun bulb was all that was left of the lighting system. The strobe effect made shadows look like monsters creeping toward me, but I didn't smell any rotten citrus. and heard none of the characteristic zombie gibbering, just a strange clicking sound ahead, like a dolphin with laryngitis. That's a thought. I figured I was safe for the moment. Phobos was pretty obvious. They were here, at Phobos base. They came to Phobos. But what did the thing mean saying they were coming from Phobos? I started feeling nauseated. My skin began to creep up and down my bones. If the zombie didn't distinguish between yesterday, today, and tomorrow, then maybe it was telling me that Phobos was not the final target of the invasion. They were going to cross the river Styx, the river of the dead in Greek mythology. And what was on the other side? Well, hell, I supposed. Hades. But wait, if you were starting from hell, then crossing the Styx took you to a... I swallowed the nausea back down. Sweat dripped down my forehead, stinging my eyes. The target was Earth. Terra, mostly firma. Home sweet hovel. I accepted the fact that I was a dead man. After 4 years of Catholic school run by... Oh boy. After 4 years of Catholic school run by Father Bartolomeo,
Like
Society
Bartholomew?
of Jesus, I had always thought that I was Bartholomew.
No,
Really?
Bartholomew.
Is that how you spell
Bartholomew,
that?
but I'm guessing that's what it's derived from.
No. Oh God. Great. Bartholomew, Society of Jesus. I'd always thought it was pretty much prayed out, or I was pretty much prayed out. Certainly, even after 4 years in the Corps, the last 3 in light drop infantry, I hadn't had a word to say to the big guy, if he was even listening. But now, for the first time, after a cumulative 17 weeks of actual combat intercut into 4 years of military life, I finally understood that stupid line about there being no atheists in foxholes. I didn't use the words that the Jesuits taught me, but I know who I was talking to, begging for the guts and skill not to hose up. Suicide mission was a weak term for what I was doing. I'm as afraid to die as the next jarhead, but god damn it, I didn't want to be damned as a walking dead. I told the big guy what I'd done wrong to the last, 7 years, and promised him a lifetime of penance if he'd just forgive me and send me into battle shriven. It was a hollow offer, I knew. That lifetime was probably measured in hours. Thank God, it's the thought that counts. Taking a breath, I swung my rifle around, finger outside the trigger guard, and stepped out of the alcove. I continued around a corner toward the clicking noise. Suddenly, I saw what looked like a working radio. Hurrying over, too quickly for caution's sake, I saw that only the front part of the mechanism remained. The back was ripped out in a way that showed clear sabotage. Up to that moment, it had seemed possible that the radios were destroyed accidentally, casualties of battle. But this was clear evidence of at least human-level tactics, far beyond what I'd imagined the zombies could do. There was somebody else wandering around here. If I hunted long enough, I'd figure I'd find it. If it or they didn't find me first. Turning a corner in the corridor, I saw more evidence of some kind of strategy. On the wall, a map to the installation had been burned beyond recognition, while the space around it was only slightly singed. Whoever that other something or somebody was, it knew that more of us would be coming after it. It didn't want us to be able to find our way. Ahead was a hatchway, the door open. The light directly over it was broken, but a steady green glow emanated from beyond the narrow opening. The glow did not come from any electrical source I could think of. Even as I moved toward the entrance, I knew I wanted it to be anywhere else but here. A new odor assailed me, far worse than the sour lemons. What, sour bananas? God. This was the loving, sweet aroma of something that should have been buried, or better yet, flushed. It literally burned my nostrils. I fumbled for the mask that accompanied the combat armor. Jesus, I thought. What I wouldn't give for a working environment suit. My hands shook as I pulled it over my mouth and nose, wondering what horrible toxic fumes I was breathing. The surge of air from the suit augmented the bad air, but it did little good. The molecules of the toxin were evidently smaller than the oxygen molecules and didn't react to any of the filters. I could still smell right through the mask. Every warning klaxon in my body was screaming. My skin tingled, and the proverbial hair on the back of my proverbial neck jumped up and did some PT. I took a few tentative steps farther in, then came up short. I'd found the light source. Oh man! Pools of thick green liquid bubbled on both sides of me. The stuff was luminescent, probably radioactive. It looked like boiling lava on St. Patrick's Day. I wasn't going to stop and run any experiments, but I had no doubt the gunk would eat right through my combat suit, given enough time. The prudent decision was to stay as far away from the green slime as humanly possible. No sooner had this thought crossed my mind than a ton of bricks slammed in front of me, knocking the 10mm pistol out of my holster and into the green toxin. Something had decided to run the experiment after all. The 10mm made a hissing sound as it disappeared from view. I didn't care. I had problems of my own. Flipping over, I struggled to get to my feet and bring the sig cow into play, if I could figure out what the hell hit me. The impact had blurred my vision. I stood up, dizzy, shaking my head. The figure had hit me so hard, just stood out of sight, in the shadows. I assumed it was another zombie, but a stronger one that I had encountered before. Then it cut loose with a hiss, and more of that clicking sound I had been hearing. Well, one little mystery solved. The strength in this zombie inspired greater caution. I rolled my M211 around and skated to the side, waiting for the creature to come to me. He did. As the large body moved into sight, I saw brown, leathery skin, rough like alligator hide, with ivory white horns sticking out from the chest, arms, and legs. The head was inhumanly huge, with maddened slits for red eyes.
Oh, man,
it was a
what
monster!
excellent timing.
Yeah.
Because this is where I wanted to pick up commentary for 32X Doom.
Alright.
So this is the final level at 15, the highest level you can pick. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted because I know where we are in Doom relative to the book.
Oh man.
But yeah, this is spawning vets, what would be E2M7, but they've completely, like, effed with it, man. It's totally different.
It doesn't look so bad so far.
It's missing a bunch of stuff.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's just, I don't know, the colors feel darker here, which I kind of like, with the contrast of the red sky.
They use the, I think this is the Doom 2 texture
red
here.
Sky.
Freaking,
yeah.
rock.
It's like used in the mines. It's
I
like
think
used
part
in
of
the,
why I wasn't digging
the
too
mines.
much on the Doom 1 mods is because I like the Doom 2 textures better.
Yeah, they're so much crisper. They're darker, they're clearer, they're more primary, but also have greater contrast. They're good. Real good.
The invulnerability
Real
effect
good.
either. They just make the screen
that's
glow
what that
kind of
is.
yellow. Yeah.
Ew. We're in sour lemon mode.
It all makes sense now.
Yeah, except it doesn't, but hey. Except it
Tiki's
doesn't,
side
but hey.
strafing looks completely wrong. Like,
So
I
do
don't think
hips.
I don't think-
a little jig.
to do that, like physically.
No, I don't think that they, like, you know how you can kind of spread your legs and strafe very slowly? Like, I think that they don't have the joint action for that. Like, it's almost like a lever or a switch. It only goes forward and backward. That's it. Yeah.
The haze of lemon
Yeah.
rage. But yeah, this level looks like a completely different level. It's just so rocky. My giddy of that.
Suppose there's just like a second or two delay.
is
my
as
audio
you
see
super
my
delayed?
audio
Not
and
sure how
then
we'd go about fixing that.
Okay, well,
So this used to be locked by a blue
we'll look into it.
key, but now there's just no lock. Just forget it. Forget
Okay.
about it.
Well, didn't want it anyways. Didn't need it.
Where the blue key was, so
I see.
console compromise.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't mush those words together.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try.
It's so sad. Oh god, this room here used to be like a tech-based kind of area. Now it's like this weird hell outside thing. I don't know. It bothers me that it's changed, but I think the change looks nice.
I can understand that. Yeah.
So, do you remember what map comes after this one?
Okay, I just listened to the stream and wow, that's kind of bad actually. I end up talking over you sometimes. Right after return to Skype, we'll see.
So
Right
this
after
is the
return
final
to
level of
Skype,
32X
we'll see.
Doom Fortress of Mystery. They couldn't add the Cyber Demon.
What?
Yeah. And also, I believe this is
What?
level 16. Yes, level 16, and you can only get to this level if you play starting from level 1. So if you warp to map 15, you can't get here. It's weird. And something weird happens after you try that. You'll see.
So there's no Cyber Demon in Doom 32X. Okay, yeah, this is the worst port ever. It's garbage, complete trash, not even worth playing. Nope, just throw it out, get rid of it, burn it all. Sorry, there are parts of it I like. Oh man, that's kind of disappointing.
Final boss, a room full of Caco demons.
Oh god, that's well, yeah, okay, I guess. You know.
Mondays, am I right?
Want no BFG?
Actually,
No
yeah, that's
BFG?
weird. I don't think you can get a BFG in this.
What?
Yeah, there are no BFGs in episode 2, and this
Oh my God.
port only goes up to episode 2. I suppose if you cheat,
Yet
you could
they,
get one,
they
but
list 6. Oh my goodness.
I hadn't really thought about that until you
Oh
brought it
my
up.
goodness. Oh my god. So many things wrong. So everything's wrong. Oh.
You ready for the...
No.
Well, too bad.
Dang it. Really?
Doom! For the
Really?
32X! Banjo Bob Hardy!
They kept the MIDI. That's okay. They kept the MIDI.
Oh no, they FM
That's I wanna
synthesized it.
Oh god. No. Yes. For the wrong reasons. What is this?
I don't know.
What is happening? Oh god. This music is incredibly appropriate, is all I can really say. Oof. Wow.
Oh, thanks,
Oof.
Id. Thanks. I got my id Software congratulations certificate for beating this game. Oh,
Yeah.
also this happens.
Ah, okay, we still get this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
Doom 2
This,
says hello.
that's okay. Howdy, Doom 2. How are you? How you doing? How you? That's it? No, okay.
We're all out of monsters. So, I suppose...
Oh!
What?
Jobo Fett. Or Jabo Fett. I forget. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. He says he's sorry for what he did in the thread, so I looked. Oh, man. Oh, man. Thank you. Yes. Yes, a logical fallacy. You're correct. Regret nothing.
Real quick, I'm going to show what happens if you try and do it from start from map 15.
Oh man, okay.
You get to see the alternate ending for 32x Doom. It's tremendous. It's the best ending I've ever seen.
Oh,
you won't believe it. Click here to find out.
Okay.
But, you know, I gotta get through the level first, so
bear
with me.
Oh, yeah, okay. Brar?
Hey, boo-boo!
Can't bear it?
Boo-boo, buddy! Sorry. Usually I save that
I was
first.
just trying to think of bear puns. We have to keep it alive, somehow.
Alright, so I'm gonna try and, well, I tried to do this as fast as possible as I could on a 32x. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Well, since I've beaten it, I'm gonna, I don't know, quote-unquote review it, see what I'm gonna do with it in the end. It was a garbage port, horrible music, the graphics suck, I'll never play it again. Will I keep the console? I will keep the Genesis. If I can find Knuckles Chaotix, I will keep the 32X. Otherwise, I will sell it if anyone wants to buy a 32X slightly used from yours truly. Nope! Or if you want to sell me Knuckles Chaotix.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yep! I'll look for it too.
Other than that, it sucks. The end.
Well, out of 10.
Yep, it sucks out of 10.
Oh, just that's it. Oh, that's
it. Sucks
okay.
10
I was
lemons
for a number, but
10
that's it. 10 lemons. 10 sour lemon smell out of 10. Rotten citrus. Sour. I just realized. He said sour lemons. Do you really need to point out that lemons are sour?
Just differentiating.
Do you really need
to? Man.
Yeah, those gosh dang sweet lemons. You know. Let me. Well, according to the number of chapters I had in mine, it didn't feel like it. But I guess I don't have the page count, so. Okay, so we're like a quarter done. Yeah, considering the chapter count, that's about right, actually.
We didn't get very far into Doom in the book.
Yeah, no.
It's at the pace, man.
Yeah. I can't even. I mean, we've met toxic stuff. We've met zombie men. We met the imp. I am really wondering how. You saw, huh? You saw.
Oh man!
You saw, huh?
You also got the pictures Wikipedia I was talking about in Ultimate.
Nice.
Lemified it.
Yeah. Thanks, Jobo Fett. Thank you very much. It's wonderful.
Oh man, good stuff. Oh, I didn't know you were Canadian. Huh.
Yeah.
You learn something new every gosh darn second on this planet. This ball of...
I mean that's how. I mean, we can get really meta here and talk about how the measurement of frames per second and how you're technically updating your understanding of existence, but we're just gonna skip all that. You're technically right.
Guys, I messed up bad.
What? You know, you
Plus
died.
one to the death count.
Oh man.
Live television is hard.
Pistol does not fire that fast, does it?
Actually,
in the PC version.
ever
version?
so slightly fast.
I like the increase in speed. You get points for that.
Oh,
the increase
what am I
in
gonna make
speed.
citrus?
You get points for that.
I could make it tonight. I could live stream making citrus.wad, except I don't know.
That's sour lemon.
Maybe not. Maybe some other day. I'll
That's sour. Yeah.
get dinner
wad.
after this because I'm starving.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds good. I'm kind of hungry myself. Even though I've been eating half the stream. I don't know if anyone heard my clinking, but...
This is what happens live. Sometimes we run a little dry, even though the silences aren't terribly long, but...
When you're performing on stage, you know, 1 second is a lifetime. Oh God, 2 seconds is an eternity, and 3 seconds is the point where you start crying. I think that's just my experience. Sorry, it's been 3 seconds. Yeah. So yeah, just oh man, did you run out of ammo? Oh, kind of. Oh God, are you? Oh. Oh.
All right.
Get some live ukes.
This time I got it for real, guys.
Get some live ukes.
Don't you worry about a thing.
Why do I have a bad feeling about this? Actually, suddenly, just
Said it with a weird slur that I don't know.
Well, I suddenly feel like Doom Guy. Just hands are sweaty, and I don't feel like holstering my gun. Don't ask why I'm let's playing holding a gun. Shut up. My immersion.
I'm going to make the mod that changes the chainsaw into
My
a lemon
immersion.
juicer.
Well, that's part of citrus.wad, isn't it?
I
Citrus.wad.
gotta find.
Yeah, I think.
I know there's somebody out there in the Doom community who
Yeah,
does
I think-
like really good
yeah.
like weapon sprite animations, and I want to find them and ask them if they would do a lemon juicer now.
Oh man. Are we gonna get some like Chex Quest lemon kind of stuff going on here? Lemon Quest.wad. Sorry, Citrus
Who knew
Quest.
Doom the book had so many lemons?
Sorry, Citrus. Yeah, good point. Is that really a question you would ask?
Freshly squeezed lemon.
Oh yeah.
Sergeant Shivers, yes, he's the one. Thank you, Meckel. That's the one I was thinking of anyway.
Yes, there may be more, and we're sorry if we don't credit you. I guess. I don't know. Whatever.
I'll write
I
it down
guess.
so I don't forget.
Whatever. Yeah. Yes, write it
Oh
down.
god.
Yeah.
I think I want to have like some
Yes,
kind
write
of
it down.
wad making thing in for the thread. Like have people like another contest thing. People make wads.
I mean, I
Like
thought we
around
talked
a
about
theme.
Oh, I guess that might not be up yet. Or yeah, but we have talked about it, so look forward to us rehashing on that idea and maybe more detail. I don't remember. Maybe
Man,
more
I thought we
detail?
were behind
I
on
don't remember.
recordings, but we're like 12 videos ahead after I
Alright.
finish posting all the wads.
Oh my god, really? And I'm gonna have to start editing soon, so... Oh man.
We've got the credits. We couldn't go to the Fortress of Mystery, but there's a twist to this.
Oh?
Give it a mo. The
The
timeline you guys are establishing is more confusing than Zelda's. Thank you.
We've done it. We're there. We're in the big one.
Oh god.
The big one.
It's so wonderfully horrible.
Oh.
After this, I gotta look back real quick to see who I can thank for this music. I think it's Brian something.
Thanks for fucking up everything, Brian. You did a great job. If that's not your name, whoever, you know who you are. You did this. You're responsible.
Here it comes. Alright, we go to DOS DOS in 32X! We go to the console!
Oh! Yeah!
I can't type anything because I got a Genesis controller, but we're in DOS in Genesis. It's nuts.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Broke everything.
It's amazing.
The most
That's the
broke
alternate
everything.
ending. I gotta see who
The
did
most
music.
broken.
Brian Coburn. Thanks, Brian.
Brian Coburn.
Oh man.
Brian Coburn. Yep. Hack the BIOS.
How wonderfully
Yeah.
terrible.
We need to figure. Oh my god, we have to figure out how to input text into
man.
a Genesis and like. Oh god, we have to see if we
I
can
gotta
interact
type in
with the
DR,
Doom,
man. See what
Doom
freaking
DOS
folders are
console.
in there.
DIR, yeah.
Doom for the 32X
Oh,
has
God.
provided me a method of hacking Genesis. It's nuts.
Oh my god, what?
I take back everything I
Best
said. I'm
port,
keeping it
10 out of
forever.
10. Yep.
Captain
Oh, wow.
Doom Guy, he's our
Oh.
hero. Gonna take those zombies down to 0. That's Jobo Fett. Oh man.
I hope that's in the book somewhere, in one of them at least. I mean, he did say just on the other side of nothing, or on the other side of 0. That's a great way to describe gravity,
right.
I guess.
Oh man, that was good. Yeah, my voice is a
That was
bit
a good
raspy
stream.
from the reading. Hopefully, I'll
was a-
become accustomed to it because there are 4 Doom
Yeah,
novels. I'll have you
it'll-
know.
I mean, I thought I was ready for it too. I regularly read aloud on the weekends for reasons, but it's been a bit, so yeah, I suffered as well. Doom or Duke guy just killed me.
It's time to sniff lemons and chew bubble gum, and it smells like lemons. I'm Devin Lemon.
It smells like sour lemons.
After a couple months of sipping lemonade, I'll be back.
Lemon skin, lemon flesh. What's the difference?
He just like
It's time to
bites
kick
into a
ass and
whole
chew
lemon.
lemons. His face like implodes. And I'm
It's like a like his face is all red. And he's just like. God, and I'm all.
You need Pine Sol. That smells like lemons. Tell you what.
Yeah.
That's the power of Pine Sol.
Oh no! God damn it!
Hey.
Doom guy hates Pine Sol. He hates. That's my God. What if that's why he hates sour lemon smell so much? When he's talking about disinfectant and
freaking
cleaner,
Pine
it's
Sol.
that goddamn Pine Sol smell again. Oh, sour lemon smell.
More like
Pine Sol.
hell.
Pine Sol is hell. Hell Sol.
That's my horror chord.
Zest and OxyClean.
Doom
Yep.
Guy would just prefer to use like Raid or something. Some bug spray. Yep.
Yeah. Bug spray the paint. Yep.
Oh man.
Good stuff.
I don't know what to do now. I think I'm done.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's I think it's time to get food is what it is. But before we go, just want to thank everyone for
Yep.
showing up to the stream and being great.
Doom
You
Guy
guys are
cleans
funny.
with bug
You guys
spray.
are great
What
to
a
have
man.
around.
All right. Hopefully this stream will be properly archived so it's not lost to the internet ether forever.
Yeah, did you? I don't know if
I
the
think I
thread
mentioned
has been
something
informed
about
on
it.
that, but
This was incredibly strange. Thank you. You're welcome.
yeah, well, for you're welcome. But yeah, we forgot to do archiving
I'm so
stuff.
crossover.
I should have caught
I'm
that.
so disappointed that we
I
lost
don't
that
believe-
stream.
I can't believe.
I'm considering. Yeah, exactly. I
We're-
was just thinking that.
We're gonna
Like,
have to do a
way down the
revisiting
line. We're
of
gonna have to just
Doingo
co-op
5.
Doom 1 all the way
We're-
through
we're-
again.
Hey, all right. Hey,
All right.
I've got a plan for you, and I'll let you know after the stream. So, but yeah, thanks for coming, guys. You've been great. Thanks for tolerating
Yeah.
terrible
Hopefully I'll get better.
reading
If I don't get better, don't worry. The books
and
are
terrible
finite.
Doom as well. God. Ugh. What you're saying is, if you don't get better,
Actually, I've
don't
heard they
worry.
get
The books
worse,
don't
so-
either. That's my point. Better could be an objective term, you know.